February 15th, 2024. In terms of emergency evacuation, there are two exits out of the room. First is through the door into the council chambers, follow past the stage, turn right, and follow upstairs through the doorway and down the stairway out the backside of the town hall. Second is out the left door into the hallway, turn right and then left, where the exit doorway will be on your right. Then follow the stairway out the front of the town hall. The men's facilities are through the left door into the hallway, turn right and then left at the end of the hallway. It's just past the stairway around the corner on the right. The ladies' facilities are through the left door into the hallway, turn right and then left at the end of the hallway. Straight up the stairs will be on the left. Please do not use the elevator in times of emergency. First matter is a review of the minutes from the January 18th, 2024 meeting. Does anybody have any issues, changes, or revisions?
Chair, I make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All not in favor? The ayes have it. We had from January 18, 2024 old businesses to consider and discuss zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. I assume that is not going forward today.
Correct.
We'll put it over to the next.
Yeah.
And perhaps at the end of the meeting, we can talk about dates that you circulated, given that we have everybody together, and try to determine what's best for everybody. Okay.
Motion to table to the next meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? The ayes have it. New business, 365 George Washington Highway, LLC, ID 2401, pre-application concept review.
I'm just going to give a brief overview. Under the new regulations, this is considered a land development project, and I know we had a discussion about development plan review and land development projects last time, but we're going to be calling this a land development project, a minor. And one of the things in the new legislation is the board has to determine, whether it's done, minors are done administratively by the technical review or by the board. But based on what we heard from the board, we're going to be having it come before you as a minor land development project. So we're going to proceed under that. We're going to have to, at some point, formalize that. And when we adopt the new regulations, it'll be made clear. But right now, we're kind of winging it. So I'll let the gentleman come up and explain his project.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Evening, Jared Nunes, 10 Kristen Drive, Greenville. Not sure where to start, but
Maybe just an overview, a quick overview of what your plans are and what you would like in terms of relief.
okay. So this site is I've owned it for probably a couple of years now. It's a pretty challenging site with a lot of development constraints. There's some wetlands present on the site as well as some topography, and it's a pretty irregular shape to it. So in order to fit anything of any real use there, I'm asking the board, you folks, for some relief from the front offset, the front setback. The intent of the building is for a office and warehouse for my business, so it can be a little closer to my residence. So like I said, it's a pretty difficult site to develop. So that's what necessitates the asked for relief here. I know you all have the plan in front of you, so I guess I'll just.
The relief sought for the side setbacks, how much are you looking for on each side?
So the front is Just review the plan quickly here, and
Not so much the front, I was asking at the side
Okay.
set, yeah,
the side would be,
on each side.
so it's 15 foot on the, it's only one side that I need it's one side that I would need the variance for. That would be
If we're looking at the site plan, it looks to the left.
yeah, it's on the right-hand side is, it would be 15 feet, and the requirement is a 40 foot, so it's a 25-foot variance.
So the actual proposal is 15 feet?
It's 15 feet, yes. The one thing that I would like the board to understand, which isn't really probably clear on this drawing because it's not big enough, is that the parcel on the immediate that is affected or the closest to that variance is a piece of land right next to the highway, and it's not. My opinion is that's not a buildable piece of land. That also has wetlands issues as well. So that's also a pretty narrow piece of land in between my parcel and the highway. So it's we're just crowding that property line is what's proposed here.
And what's the relief in the front that you're looking for?
The front is also, well, it's 15 feet from the property line, but another thing that I'd like to just point out here is that the highway, what's required in a front yard is 100 feet, but the highway easement line off of, so the actual edge of pavement is approximately 100 feet from where the building is proposed.
Yeah.
Even though the highway buffer zone is quite wide on that section of George Washington Highway. So I am asking for a 15-foot offset from the 15-foot setback from the property line, but there's still quite a bit of distance between that and the edge of pavement. And most of the buildings that are currently on George Washington Highway, the buildings are, in that area of this parcel are about the 100 to 140 feet off of edge of pavement. So I don't know where their property lines are in relation, because, the state's actually offered to sell some of that highway offset. I do have the option to buy that piece of land in between, but it's not really useful to me. So I was just pointing out that 70, that 50 feet or 75 feet off the edge of pavement is really state land,
What's that? Well, I mean, it's, we're ruling on whether we're going to give a variance or not to this particular lot, so. I don't think so. It's whether this particular lot has the right to get that variance, in my opinion. What's the reason, why do you need the structure that wide as opposed to perhaps a structure that's not that wide that would comply with the side setback?
So that's really the minimum size that would work for my business.
Which is what type of business?
It's a construction company, so I need the storage space inside for product, building products and stuff like that we store. So anything smaller than that in the building just doesn't become useful to me. That's really the reason why the building has to be the size it is. And I worked with my engineer for quite a while on this, trying to turn it different ways, and he gave me 5 or 6 different ways to do it, and it doesn't fit because the building envelope is so small. I mean, the piece of property is shaped like a pie, and we have intermittent stream on one side it really chokes the building area on this site down to a very small, it's just, there's no other option on my end, if I can't get relief that I'm asking for, I can't build on this piece for me. I'd have to, I don't know.
Any other questions of board members?
How long have you had this business?
The business has been, so it's been in existence for 40 years. I've owned it myself 100% for about 8 years.
Where is the office now?
West
Where else
Warwick,
now?
West Warwick.
Is that still usable or?
I own that building with partners and we're talking about selling it. So it's usable, yeah, but it's not going to, it's not in my control that way.
For the council, what do you think about it? Can we give a variance without giving notification to the state that we're intruding on their rights?
I can't see why not.
We're covering this.
Yeah, I can't see why not.
Because I'm just thinking of legal. Come back, tell them we can do it. The state says
Well-
you find out about it and tell them why we do it.
And today it's just a it's a pre-application concept review in general. It's not given the approval of the variance today.
Fine, I don't see it.
Any other questions?
You're not building on the 15 feet, it's just the setback, right?
Right.
That, it looks like the building is hitting right at the line.
Right, that line, that dotted line is, the proposed building envelope. So the setback, that, it gives you 15 feet to the property line off of that line is what's proposed currently.
When do you plan on approaching state for reviews on wetlands and the physical alteration permit with DOT?
That would be pending the relief, this was kind of my first stop, and
Okay.
if I was
Yeah.
granted the relief,
Got
then
you.
I have my engineers ready to go on submission of the application to DEM. We've already had a pre-app meeting with them for conceptual review, and they were fine with everything that we have.
Okay,
The formal, I was holding off on the formal application
Okay.
until I had some kind of result from
Yeah.
you folks.
got you.
Any other further questions or comments?
Just to be upfront about my thought process, like the reason I was asking you those questions regarding kind of what you're doing now is because I'm trying to see the need that we would have, that you would have to require this setback if you're operating the business otherwise, just fine. It sounds like it was a convenience thing to be closer to your house, but that's what you kind of said, right?
Well, it's also a reason it is. I mean, I can't say it's not a reason, but it's also because like I said, I have partners in the other property and they want to sell it, and it's not something so my time there is limited.
What's the dimensions of the property you're using now?
Well, it's part of a larger park, so there's multiple buildings. The acreage is there's 7 or 8 acres, and there's multiple buildings with multiple units.
That you're using for your,
No, I'm using only a roughly the same size as this, a little bit less than this. And it's become a problem to run my business there for that reason too. It's just not enough space for me. But the rest of the building is occupied by other tenants or the other buildings. There's 12 units there now, so.
Michael, did you have another question?
So the way I'm getting your business pictures, you want to divest yourself of the building in West Warwick and bring your business to Smithfield.
Correct.
Got ya.
Right. I currently pay tangibles to West Warwick now, and I prefer to just stay here. All the vehicles and, yeah, I mean, right.
Like the business, you're moving the whole business here, or this is?
Well, it's just a
Right, no, I have multiple locations. Right now, I have a property in Foster where we store some material, and this would be like the main office though, the home base.
Should leave with that next time. Instead of it's closer to my house.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the perks of owning the place. You put the
Yeah.
office closer to your house.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay. I'm good.
Okay. At this stage, on a pre-application concept review, we're not, there's no findings, no motion, it's just an interplay between the applicant and the board. Okay.
We're gonna be coming back at preliminary plan, so that's kind of a difficult thing, because that preliminary plan, you kind of have to have your wetland thing figured out, but they're not gonna probably give you something until you have some kind of an approval from the town, so I don't know.
Yeah, this is new to me, so I mean, I'm not,
Yeah,
do I? What would be the next step as far as the town is concerned?
well, preliminary plan for a minor is there's only 2 steps, and it's preliminary plan.
This is just.
I mean, it's streamlined.
Do you guys have the ability to approve something, pending a DEM approval? Or,
Well, that's not before us today.
Right, I'm just trying to think of what, just letting them know what the next steps are. That's what we're supposed to be telling them here at this meeting. So it's gonna be preliminary plan. We'll have to have a discussion about, you have to get, exceptions from the checklist items, which is, requires you to have permits in hand
okay.
at preliminary plan. So you have to, see the board we want to, create waivers from that, checklist requirement.
Michael, did you have something you wanted to say? Or-
Yeah.
I could tell by the look.
When it comes into preliminary, all state permits require final administrative approval.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing we've done in the past. We're kind of on in new territory here with these projects, for minors. Typically, a land development project like this would have had a master plan, had had a master plan approval. You could have gone to DEM and said, see, here the town has, said yes to it at one stage. I don't know what DEM is going to be saying if you try to submit a formal application without some kind of approval stage from the town.
What was your point, Joe?
My thinking is that when he comes back the next time, if everything is in order, but he's not going to have any DEM permits, we could give him a conditional approval for the plan, for him to go to DEM to give them something that says, I'm coming here for your approvals on various.
That's the kind of input I'm looking for, is if the board is amenable to that kind of thing.
Sure.
Make a positive recommendation.
I don't think you can. No.
Well, we're trying to work with you. There's been changes in the state regulations that we're all trying to
Yeah.
navigate through, and that's, but the general response is favorable.
Understood.
Go a set of minutes from the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The next matter is Maori Farm subdivision, conversion of performance to maintenance bond and acceptance of public improvements.
Some of you were on the board when this development was going through the review process, and Mike was here, and maybe Catherine. It's an 8-lot subdivision up off of Branch Pike. Most of the work was done and completed in 2013. We've been before the board for bond reductions, and now they've completed the subdivision. Most 90%, if not all, the houses are built, and the public works director and engineer have inspected it and found the road to be meeting town standards. And the applicant has requested, release of their performance bond and, a recommendation to go to the town council for acceptance of the approvals of the roadway. This subdivision was somewhat unique in that the board did not accept the drainage system, the detention ponds and all that. That maintenance of that is being retained by the homeowners association. The only thing what we're going to be accepting is the roadway itself. They retained ownership of the open space and, the maintenance responsibilities for detention ponds and that kind of thing. So typically we'd have a bunch of deeds for, detention ponds and easements and such, but they're retaining that here. So the only thing that's really going to be accepted is the roadway itself. So if we could get a motion to, recommend to the town council acceptance of the public improvements, and also a separate motion to set a maintenance bond amount of $5,000. That's just to cover for the next year, if any failure happens, we can recoup some costs. It would be typically minor things because the roadway has been down for a number of years and complete, so we don't expect there's going to be any issues with it. But the regulations require us to retain a maintenance bond. So.
Any questions of any of the board members?
You looked at it, correct?
Yes.
I know Mr. Simonelli, he does good work. You don't see anything like where 5,000 is enough or be more?
No, I think it's enough. I mean, we've done a couple of bond releases with Mr. Simonelli. We had one issue with a catch basin where there was some minor cracking around it, and he fixed it. We retained $5,000 for a year, and we were able to, fix whatever, minor stuff was there. Like I said, the road has been down, the drainage has been working, and so, yeah, I don't see that there's going to be any, it's not like it's a.
Did Alan look at it?
Did
PD, Department of Public Works?
Gene Allen, yes. Yeah, he's co-author of the memo. Gene Allen and the town engineer have both been out and inspected it.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions of board members? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
We got to approve two different ones, is that correct?
Yeah, there's two
first one
different
will
things.
be-
The first one would just be to recommend that the town council consider accepting all public improvements. And the other one is to recommend the maintenance bond of $5,000 and release the performance bond and set a maintenance bond of $5,000. So,
Beginning with the former, we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All not in favor? The ayes have it. Do we have a motion regarding the retention or requirement of a $5,000 bond to be held for 1 year?
So moved.
All,
In addition to
releasing the
seeing the
performance bond, yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
So the last issue we should discuss is
Yeah.
potential dates for a special meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone has the dates in front of them. I know there were some of those dates that we initially listed that Ashley was available. We had conflicts here. That was 2/21, 3/7, and 3/14 can't be considered because we've got conflicts here.
And in terms of our next meeting, is that not doable? I think
She has had conflicts with our regular meeting, and I think the next meeting is one that she has a conflict with, so we may be able to do some things without her. She's going to give me a draft, and I'll get that out as soon as we review it here, and we can get that out, and maybe we can do stuff at that meeting, at the regular meeting, but
Mike, excuse me, just out of curiosity, how many towns is she representing?
I think she is handling at least just Gloucester, but her firm, I think, has like 7 or 8 communities. But she's not handling
Is that the
all.
only firm that's available?
Uh,
Or is it something else that's more accommodating?
There were a bunch of other communities that, you know, I reached out to, but they were the only ones who really got back to us. So one of them was a Mass firm that, you know, didn't respond at all, so.
What are the available dates right now?
Does anyone have you have the email?
226, 227, 229, 311, 312, 318, 325, 326. The other ones she are available for, I did not mention.
So it'll be a special meeting because is not available during our date, beginning with February 26th. What's everyone's general impression about February 26th? No good? All right. How about February 27th?
I'm on vacation, we got into that last week.
February 29th?
29th.
I'm available for all
Available.
those dates.
Available?
I'm on vacation that week.
On the 29th, including the 29th?
Let's go to March.
March 11th, March 12th,
March 11th. What day is that?
Monday.
March 11th? March 11th? 6 o'clock? How's that, Michael?
If we could there's nobody can do, so the 29th is no good.
Well, the 29th, at least one member is not available.
Okay. Yeah, I know Richard's not here either, so he didn't respond, so I don't know
He
what
didn't
his.
respond. I mean, there might be, we might not be able to have everyone for
Yeah.
the special meeting. We'll do the best we can.
Could we give her the 29th and see if, because I'd like to give her one meeting
On
and,
vacation? Right.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm not available, but
Mm.
I'll watch it afterward.
Okay.
If that is work for everybody else, that's fine.
29th.
All right, so I'll give her the 311 and 329, 229, I'm sorry.
311. How about 325 if we have to while we're talking about it? No, 3, right?
325? Yeah, why don't we give her, another
We
one.
have 325 and 326.
325, yep.
How's everybody with the March 25, March 26 if needed?
Okay.
What time? So why don't you give her, Michael, did you say, is 311 not good for you?
311 is not one of the dates that was precluded, so that,
Oh, I thought 311 was a date that was included. I apologize.
It is.
it is, yep.
So why don't we,
311 is included.
why don't we give 311 as the preferred date?
Mhm.
Because at least we know everyone here can make an effort to be there.
Yep,
Then backup dates, February 29, March 25, March 26.
okay.
And then we'll put it in her court for one of those dates.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to probably have to have 2 dates where we're going to be doing special meetings, so I'm going to give her a bunch of them. We may, depending on how our progress is, if we have to do 2 of these dates.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we can go as fast as, a lot of this stuff is going to be, we're just going to be changing the regs to comply with state law, and there's not going to be a lot of decisions that we have to make, but there are going to be some key ones that we're going to have to make. So if we can bang those out in short order, then, we can get back on a regular schedule. Yeah, I mean, she's, yeah, I'm hoping that in April, we can be able to sync up and we can have her at a regular meeting, so.
Any further business?
I don't want to get it, I won't go into depth with this subject tonight, but I do want to put it on our agenda for when we meet, either the next meeting or one of these special meetings. It actually relates to the new changes in state enabling laws and regards to affordable housing. It's something I've been following for over a year in regard, and I brought it up at a past meeting, it's something called granny flats. And I've been trying to follow it for the past year. Well, an article came out in the Providence Journal on January 31st, and talks to some degree in depth about these granny flats and about where that they're likely to want to allow them. And it also talks about who can live in them. And there were some kind of questions in my mind in regards to what this board and town has been doing over the past year with accessory dwelling units. And some things didn't quite jibe with what was stated in here. Not that this is all the truth that's fit to print. But it raised some questions in my mind, and it's actually some of the things, if it's true, is quite startling. And then there was another article recently and related to similar, affordable housing projects in the Providence Sunday Journal on February 11th of this year. And it talks about further efforts at the legislature in regards to what they're putting on the table now, and it's quite startling. If you take, like I said, I'm not going to go into this. I'd like to go into it a little more in depth on our next meetings, but if what they're proposing in the legislature with these two subjects is combined with what they've already passed and put down these town cities' throats. Where we're looking at some potentially serious changes to the character of our town. And
Well, I know Ashley has been the point person who's dealing with the legislature on this. She's the right person to, she'll be able, I know that there's a bill pending. It's going to be passed shortly on ADUs. So I think it's going to be coming to fruition shortly, I think.
I urge all my members to read these two articles. You've got the dates, January 31st and February 11th. Yeah, and then you combine it with what's already been approved. It reminds me of what you said tonight coming in. The legislature has taken over the job of planning board. Yeah.
11. Would be worth us submitting written testimony to the Senate and the House regarding
Oh, and by the way, Michael,
bills, like when they're on the hearing.
by the way, Michael, there's one last thing. They attempt to some degree to go into how do we get here and started quoting historical zoning history and planning. And it's some of it's accurate, but a lot's left out. So it's a somewhat disingenuous article in trying to historically educate people of Rhode Island on
Yeah, it was,
including who zoning came out.
it was a much different process than how many years ago when we adopted the new zoning enabling and subdivision regs. It's a very different process now.
Amen. All right, that's it.
Michael, when would you like to discuss that?
next meeting.
One of these special meetings or,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Ashley, I can prime her to have, because
yeah.
maybe by then this new legislation will pass and she'll give us the good or bad news.
Yeah,
as
at
to-
least an update.
Yeah.
Do we have a special guest come to that, like our town solicitor, like Anthony, can he come out and ask us, what, can we fight this? How, what could be the offensive moves that we can start?
Yeah, I know that.
What we can do?
I've been working with APA. There's a whole legislative committee the APA has put together, and they've been meeting with, the leagues of cities and towns and, the liaisons for the legislature, trying to figure out and telling them, look, we've got serious issues with these ordinances, and everyone is still shaking. I mean, Mike, you're right. I mean, people are just shaking their heads with what.
It's gonna ruin the character of a lot of the area.
Yeah.
You gotta plan a fight.
Well, I mean, they've done it. I mean, it's already done, and there's not a lot to fight at this point.
Well, it could be fought in the courts in determining whether ultimately the particular changes stand muster to a challenge.
And that's going to be the problem, because there are contradictions within the ordinance that are going to have to be litigated to figure out what's what. So, fortunately.
That's what the courts are for.
Yeah. No.
About the check and balance on.
One almost, I know there's too many lawyers in here. I'm not going to say it.
Anything else?
Like regarding the new laws though, that would affect the other new laws, like the new ones that haven't been passed yet, we could do testimony in the committees and fight them that way too. I don't know if we're interested in trying to do that. You don't seem moved by that.
Unfortunately, I think they have their minds made up, and I think the fight's gotta
Yeah.
probably be.
For the ones not even passed?
Yeah.
I'm saying for the ones not passed
Not
yet.
past it, yeah.
Like the two that you're mentioning now,
Yeah.
not the new ones that have already been.
I mean, when I read this, like, it's true, sorry. I can't imagine, suburban or rural towns in Rhode Island not coming out altogether against some of these proposals. I mean, it's basically, it's taking your residential zoning and, giving it a backhand, saying, and then, well, just please read the articles, you'll understand. It's, but yeah, no, I don't see why these towns, like Mike said, the League and City of Towns couldn't get together and fight this, before this is a done deal. But it's got the tag of, all in the name of affordable housing, and so that seems to be the battle cry. And
that's one of the arguments, is that, very few of the changes have anything really to do with housing production. So it's all in the guise of affordable housing, but really it's developers.
Well, yeah.
It's not a four boulevard. I mean, you're looking at this town, agency production, still like, $390,000.
Well, there's ways around this, because they're talking about these granny flats as accessory units, accessory dwellings, modular. Now, these modular units, they can be fairly put together fairly quickly and inexpensively, and combined with what they're proposing is how much land you need to put on, how lot size. Now the variances are easier, they've been cut back, so there's a lot more opportunity that somebody could plop this in their backyard, their side yard. Hell, even some of the photographs that I was looking at in the paper look like they could be plopped in a front yard. So and they're talking 20,000 square foot lots and larger. That's, no, they're looking for ways to do this, and this is the latest assault on your town's ability to guide its growth and how you want to see it. It could literally change the character of some towns. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further business tonight? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion adjourned.